Today, we are diving into an absolutely fascinating literary what-if. We're talking about a rediscovered, forbidden manuscript from an alternate 19th century Prussia. It's called Der Himmelstürmer, or the Heaven Stormer, and let me tell you, it's a story you think you know, but in a way you have never, ever imagined.
Okay, so let's just jump right in with the big one. This single question is what the entire manuscript is built around. It takes that classic Faustian bargain, the deal for ultimate knowledge, and it completely flips the script on what that kind of ambition really means for us. So what is this thing exactly? Well, at its heart, the Heavenstormer is this incredible mashup. It weaves together the famous German legend of Dr. Faust with the ancient, super mystical, and non-canonical biblical text, the Book of Enoch. It's a work of fiction, of course, but man, what a powerful collision of two traditions.
Right, so you have to wonder, how did a text this radical even come to exist? And more importantly, why was it hidden away? The backstory of the manuscript is honestly just as compelling as the story inside it. This thing was considered a genuine threat, a piece of art so dangerous it had to be completely suppressed.
Let's just trace its secret history for a second. So, in this alternate past, it gets written as this really sharp political critique of the Prussian Empire's growing power. And as you can imagine, the authorities saw it as a huge threat to the social and imperial order and basically buried it. It wasn't until 1892 that it was supposedly dug up in the secret state archives, finally revealing its true radical purpose. Now this is where it gets really clever. The way the manuscript begins, it borrows the famous structure of Goethe's Faust, a framework that a lot of people would recognize instantly. But it uses that familiarity to introduce a completely different kind of hero and a whole new kind of moral problem. It all kicks off with a bet, way up in heaven. On the one hand, you've got the classic, God and Mephistopheles making a wager for Dr. Faust's soul. But in the Heavenstormer, the bet is between the Archangel Michael and a rebel spirit named Semyaza. And they're not betting on some tormented scholar, they're betting on the prophet Enoch, literally the most righteous man alive. The question isn't just good versus evil anymore. It's about whether even the absolute best of us can be corrupted by the hunt for forbidden knowledge. And this right here, this contrast really gets to the heart of the story's big twist. Faust's deal is totally selfish, right? He wants power and pleasure for himself. Enoch's motivation, though, is the complete opposite. He's this brilliant but frustrated intellectual who genuinely believes that the only way to save humanity from a coming catastrophe is to get his hands on celestial knowledge, what he calls the keys to the stars. His ambition is for everyone else, but the path he has to walk is just as dangerous.
Every Faustian tale has to have its human cost. In Goethe's version, it's the incredibly personal and heartbreaking tragedy of Gretchen. Well, the Heavenstormer takes that idea and blows it up to a massive societal scale. Here, the tragedy is the seduction of mortal women by the fallen angels, the Watchers, and it's presented as a direct, catastrophic consequence of Enoch opening that door to forbidden wisdom. His quest has consequences for the whole world.
So now we're moving into the manuscript's epic second part, titled An Empire of Giants. This is where we zoom out from one man's personal struggle and see it build into this huge, world-spanning allegory. It really mirrors the incredible scope of Goethe's own Part 2.
And what was the result of that huge tragedy? The birth of the Nephilim. Yeah, those guys, the offspring of angels and humans, the giants of myth. But in this story, they don't just wander around, no way. They forge a powerful, technologically superior empire, all built on a foundation of forbidden knowledge that was passed down from their celestial fathers.
And just what is this forbidden knowledge? Well, the manuscript has a name for it, Enochian technology. And it's not just science, and it's not just magic. It's this dangerous, potent fusion of the two. Think advanced metallurgy combined with powerful sorcery. It's a gift from the fallen Watchers that gives the Nephilim Empire its totally unstoppable power. Okay, so here's the crucial point, the real takeaway. None of this is actually about ancient myth. The whole story of giants and fallen angels, it was a brilliant and seriously dangerous political code. This is exactly why the manuscript was suppressed. It was holding up a dark mirror to the ambitions and anxieties of its own time.
Let's actually break down that code. These so-called Enochian technology that was powering this ancient empire, that was a direct allegory for Prussia's rapid industrialization and its advanced weaponry. The Nephilim giants, the ones in charge, they represented the corrupt imperial elite. The fallen Watchers were a symbol for the corrupting influences that lead to moral decay. And the coming flood? Well, that was a chilling warning of the catastrophe the authors saw coming, all thanks to human arrogance and unchecked expansion.
And now, we get to it, the most revolutionary idea in the entire manuscript. This is the part where the Heavenstormer doesn't just critique the Faust legend, it completely rewrites its ending and its entire moral compass.
So here it is, the ultimate twist. The manuscript argues that the relentless pursuit of knowledge, that very act of striving that damned the original Faust, isn't a path to hell at all. It's a path to something far, far greater. I mean, just look at this comparison. On the left, you have the traditional story. Intellectual curiosity is a sin, and striving beyond your station leads straight to eternal damnation, period. But on the right, the Heavenstormer gives us this radical alternative. That same striving, that same hunger for knowledge, is actually the path to divine transformation.
Enoch is not condemned for his quest. Think about that. He isn't punished for seeking the keys to the stars. In this version, his relentless, world-changing, and even tragic striving is ultimately rewarded with the greatest prize you can imagine: evolution.
He completes the ultimate Faustian journey. He starts out as this striving mortal intellectual from a world before the flood. He becomes the seeker of forbidden celestial knowledge, and in the end, he doesn't fall into a fiery pit. He ascends. He transforms into the divine being known as Metron, the celestial scribe who literally stands in the presence of God.
And so the Heavenstormer leaves us with this final, really challenging question. By reimagining damnation as transformation, it forces us to rethink the very nature of ambition. And you know, this really matters because the 19th century author used this myth to question their own era of unchecked industrial power. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What allegories are we creating today to process our own relentless striving for knowledge, whether it's with AI or genetic engineering? And are we sure which path it's leading us down, salvation or our fall?